Hey guys, how's it going? Alright, you know, sometimes you do something that's never ending. You know, you plan to do something else and something else happens. Well, it's happened. The tractor died. Thing is, I know what's wrong with it, but I can't believe it happened. Fired it up. I haven't run this thing in about 3 weeks. I know we had a lot of rain. I just can't see it happening. But what I've got is I have a lot, and I'm going to repeat that, a lot of water in the gas. I came back from that direction, just got up this hill, and it got about right here. And I looked at the exhaust, and it's really trying to burn. It's burning water. There's this white smoke pouring out. It's fixing to rain again here soon. I took the old fuel filter off, and it's just, you can look in there and it's just almost like pure, almost, you can see it. It's like pure water in there. See it? That's water. Pure water. So, I drained it out as far as I can go. It looked like it was raw fuel. I put a new fuel filter on it. I probably should have never even done that. Let me put this back here for a second. Probably should have never even put that fuel filter on. And it cleared, and I started messing with it a little bit, and I couldn't get it to start, and I just stopped. And I went ahead and I'm going to take this other skirt. I took that side skirt off. I'm going to take this skirt off this side. And I actually went into town. I had to go get some feed with Willow for the animals' hay, and I can't get back to bring it to them because this thing's in the way. So I got to get this running. But so I bought another fuel filter when I was in town. That's a $15 mistake that I should not have done, and I knew better. But I'm actually going to go and see. I'm going to take the skirt off over here, and I'm going to go ahead and pull that filter back off. And I'm going to try to catch some of the fuel that's coming out and see. It looked like to me when it was hitting the ground, I got a bucket I'm going to point it through this time, that I had gotten rid of it all. But, you know, I know these aren't perfectly sealed systems, but gosh, man, I can't believe that much water got in there. I'm talking a lot of water. So either all this rain was, or I had someone sabotage me. And I really hate to think of the sabotage. I really do. It'd make me sad if that was the case. You seen how much water come out of that? It's full. That is just plain full of water. So let me get this other side off. I'm going to get that bucket underneath here. I'm going to get a clear container, and we're going to go ahead and take that fuel filter off on that side again, and we're going to see what we're catching, what's coming out, and check the color of the water, and just see. When I took that off, it almost looked like there was dirt in there too, and I mean, I was pretty shocked. So anyway, okay, let me get going here. We got rain that's moving in today for sure. I got my truck in the garage, so if it does rain, the feed will be fine for today. You know, I can't drag this out of the way. All the hydraulics are down. I have to fire it up right here and get it running. That's the only option I have. I can't drag it nowhere. The blade's down, everything's down. Alright guys, let me turn this off. I'm going to get that side off. I'll get everything ready, and then I'll turn this back on when I get to that point. Alright, you can see the fuel filter right here. It's been sitting overnight. I got this container, so let's go ahead and drain some in here. That should be almost clear fuel. Look at the color of it. That should be clear fuel. That's not clear. I just went and bought fuel, and it's perfectly clear. I'm going to let that drain out. I do have a bucket down underneath. How did so much water get in this? That's a lot of water. That's a half a tank of fuel I'm dumping out right now. Alright, let me let this finish draining out, and I'll turn back on here in a bit. Alright guys, let me show you something. It's settling down some. Look how much water out of what we just drained. Remember I told you there's little bubbles and stuff floating around? Alright, now look at the bottom of the bottle. That's water that's on the bottom. You see it? That's water. You see that? Water's heavier, so water sinks to the bottom. There you go. Let me tilt this, see if I can't tilt it on the side. Maybe you can see even better. Watch the water across the bottom travel. See it? That's a lot of friggin' water. Just in that. I just drained that all in there. And that looks milky. I don't know. What I'm going to do is drain that out, dump that, rinse it. I'm going to put some regular fuel in here and see what the difference is. Alright, I dumped it out. Try to rinse the bottle best as I can. But here's the difference. You seen what that looked like a minute ago was almost a yellow. Alright. You don't see the water in the bottom no more. It's all gone. But that's pure diesel fuel that I just bought out of a 6-gallon can. There you go. That's what it's supposed to look like. I'm pretty frustrated, maybe very pissed, because that's a lot of water. Alright, I need to flush that tank out. Let me dump some diesel back in there and start the process, and hopefully I can bleed this system. Hopefully it didn't wipe out my $800 injection pump. And then injectors are about 150 bucks a piece. Alright, I'm going to get going. Okay, I got my other new oil filter and fuel filter, and this is what I always do. I always fill my filters, whether it's oil or fuel, if it mounts straight up. I always go ahead and top my fuel filter off, help bleed it out that way quicker. They do offer bleed valves to open, and I will open them, but I'm going to go ahead and, you see mosquito on my finger, get off there. Alright, let me show you what I got. I always just go ahead and fill my fuel filters if they're this way, or my oil filters if they go this way. I always do that. It helps get the oil pressure or fuel pressure a lot quicker. Now they do have bleed screws on here, and so we'll be using them here in a minute. So let's go ahead and put this back on. Let's go ahead and limit. Let me wipe that surface off a little bit. Alright, I'm going to screw this fuel filter back on. Alright, I'm going to give you a tip on bleeding. Anytime you go bleed a diesel, yeah, it'd just be any kind of diesel, you need to make sure your fuel tank is, this one here would be, let me make sure I'm looking at right. Yeah. You need to make sure that your fuel tank is higher than the fuel filter. You're going to gravity feed, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack open a line, and what fuel I'm going to put in that tank is going to come on down, and it'll bleed itself out. I'll open up that, I'll show you, open up the one on the fuel filter, and when that one's done, I'll open up the one that's on the injection pump. So that way, all the fuel air is out of all the lines up to the injection pump. Then we got to go from there. That's another process. All right, so let me get to that point, and I'll turn you back on. All right, I got a full, I poured 6 gallons. That should top it off. It's real close. Now, what I do is I leave the fuel cap off for this time. That way, when I'm going to open up this bleeder valve right here, that'll allow it to gravity feed a lot better, a lot faster. Okay, so let's open this up. This is a bleeder screw. What's going to happen, we're just going to open this up, and you can actually start to see stuff come out. Now what's going on, this is the hose from the tank, and it's actually, that's the hose right here from the tank. It's filling up this filter. Now the filter is pretty much full. Okay, I'm going to let that bleed. Just make sure there's no water nowhere. That looks good. So now I'm going to go ahead and tighten this down. Alright, now hold on. Alright. Need a rag. Next spot. You see that screw there? Okay. That is the line that goes from the fuel filter. So the same thing's going to happen. I should be able to force air right on out this line right here. Air and fuel, whatever's in this line, should be new. So, as you can see, you see the air bubbles coming out? Now we're just going to wait on it. You can see there is fuel coming out right there, but I don't know if that's fuel or is it water. So we're going to go ahead and open that up a little more. It actually feels like fuel. I'm not taking a chance because that line don't hold much. We're going to let that drain real quick. I think we're good. So now I'm going to tighten this up. Man, the mosquitoes got terrible. Alright, so what we've done is we've added fuel. Let me get the camera out of here. We put fuel in here, okay? Fuel's in. Fuel's heavy. So if you have a hole at the bottom, it will force the fuel out the hole. So, in loosening up that screw is what we did. We bled that from the line in this fuel filter is empty. Is full now of fuel. Alright. So now what we did, here's that line I just showed you. That line goes from here to here. And as you see, it's an uphill. These pumps are not, they don't pump, they don't suck a lot of fuel. They pressure a lot of fuel. So you have to help it get to this point. So you open this screw up, and that heavy fuel that's up in this gas tank, the fuel that's pushing down hard, it pushed fuel all the way through there, it pushed the air out of that system, it pushed it out through this valve right here, and now we've closed it up. So now we're good. Now the next process is, you have to break your injector lines loose. Okay? That's the big thing that has to happen next. Guaranteed, there's probably water and junk in these lines. Guaranteed. We're going to have to force that out of here. So, we're going to have to break these open and bleed them. And the only way you can do that is you have to crank the engine over to force it out. Now, I'm going to try something. I just want to see what happens here. I'm going to see if anything would come out if I open up both of these at the same time. When I'm trying to effectively, oh yeah, look, it's water. You can see it. I can see the bubble. That's water. Okay? That is 100% water right there. Alright, so as you can tell, I've got that loose. There's no more, nothing that's in there that's stayed. Need to tighten these down real quick. Start them loosely, both ends. Make sure they're all good, and they are. And I'm going to go ahead and I cannot get to that center one here, so I'll do this left one. And I'll do, that's that one way back there. I'll crack that one open. Let's get as much water as I can out of here. I may be dark for you guys. Sorry, don't have a light out here. Okay, that one's loose. Look at that. That's water that's coming out of that line. You see it? That's water. It's like yellow color, rust. That's water. God. I hope this pump thing go pootsies on me big time. Alright guys, let me turn you off for just a minute. I want to finagle with this third one real quick somehow. Maybe, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I want to do this real quick and then I'll turn you back on. Alright. you can't just turn your key on. I have to crank the engine over. So I am going to go ahead and crank the engine over for just a few minutes or a few seconds, and I'm going to try to get this pump to pump up and push some fluid out. So I'm going to need you guys to let me know if you see fluid coming out of here. All right, so I'm going to go over and crank it up. Let's crank it over and see. It won't start because those lines are open. This front one's the only one that's open. Let's see what we can do with that. I'm not sure, but I think, yeah, you can see an air bubble right there, something come up. All right, I'm going to clean it off again. I hear thunder. All right, let me focus in so you guys can get even closer look at it and see if you can see. All right, let's get that cleaned up. And let's go ahead and crank it over again, and let's see if we can get something coming out of there. Oh yeah. Yeah, you could see it. And I'm smelling it. It kind of feels like it's water almost. And remember, this injection pump's got water in it. I think that's getting to be diesel. So I'm going to tighten this one down and move over to the next one. We're going to do one at a time. And when we get to the third one, it may even try to start on the third one. And we can bleed as much as we can bleed. There's still going to be water in certain areas. It'll work its way out. All right. Definitely want to clean this up real quick so we make sure we're dry. We're not leaking. And let's turn you over to the second one, which is right there. All right, we're going to crank that baby over. These things are hard to start when you're not using glow plugs, so the fear of starting, I don't think it will start right now because you got to have glow plugs to fire. So let's go ahead and hit that again. All right. I'm going to go ahead and shut that one down for right now. I mean, I may have to have my wife crank this over while I bleed each one of these lines separately. When you finally get all the air out, it'll fire. But sometimes it takes time to do it. Make sure that's tight. That's tight. All right, here's number 3. Which is way back there. There it is right there. Okay, let's watch that one. I may have to get a battery charger on this baby. Yeah, we're finally getting there. Looking good. Let's go it again. All right, here we go. We're wanting to start. So, which means there's very little water in it, but a lot of air. So we need to get ready for running. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up because he's trying to start. And once I get to start, then I'm going to open up each injector one at a time to burp out any extra air that's inside the lines. And you'll see what I'm talking about. All right. This is good news because the battery's getting low. All right, for right now, I'm going to push this back out of the way, and let's see if this thing will start. I'm going to preheat it. Well, I may not have to burp the lines, but you know what? I'm going to show you so you see it too anyway. Sometimes if they don't start, a lot of diesels, you have to open a line. Let me show you. I'll tell you what happens. It'll actually kill a cylinder. You hear it? And now what we'll be doing is, if there's air in there or water, it'll let it out. So I'm going to do it again. open it up when it's running, and you hear the engine start stalling out, and you see the fuel come out of there, and you wipe it down. Come out of there when I open this up, you feel the engine miss, and then I'll close it, and that will be the engine's running normal. And what we try to do, we try to get the air out of line if you needed to, but I'm just going to do this right now. Here we go. Engine's going to miss. All right? And what you try to do is try to get all the air or water out. All right, we got it running, and I'm using it. And it runs good so far. And I empty out this load of mulch I got. It's got a little bit of a white smoke still. So far, everything's going good, guys. I think we got it fixed. It's running good. It's running good, and we're going to call it with that. And oh, I did want to tell you one other thing, and I didn't show you here, but on each injector there is a rubber line, and it jumps from injector to injector to injector. And what that is overflow that injector didn't burn, it's extra fuel. I did not drain that. So I have a feeling, and it probably would have amounted to maybe half a shot glass, if that, of water. If it had any, and it overflows it back into the fuel tank. Well, I also added heat to the fuel to evaporate any water that's in there. So hopefully that will take care of that. And maybe here in a month, I'll change that fuel filter one more time. But other than that, I checked it, it's flowing good, color looks great. I think we fixed it. It's fixing to rain. I got some things I need to get done with this thing quickly. All right, we'll talk to you later. See you later. All right, a quick update to the tractor. Last night I drove it, and the rain never hit. It went around us, so I was able, I got 15 minutes for a battery. Never rained, so I continue using it, and every once in a while, right after I stopped videotaping, the tractor kind of gurgled, and which means it was still passing either water or air somewhere. But after that, I drove it for about a half hour, and it ran great. So no more problems with that. But I'm still having a hard grasp on how that water got in there. One example is that, you know, when you see a gas tank for like in your house, the red gas tanks, they expand with the heat. Okay, every gas tank does the same thing. Every one of them. Cars, that's why you take a gas cap off, you hear it hiss. Okay, the same thing as a tractor. Now, a tractor does not have the perfectly good seal caps. It has an O-ring up top, and it is not. This one here is very hard, and I do have a long thread on my gas cap, screws on quite a bit before it bottoms out. But it does the same thing. If it's hot out, everything expands. When it cools off, everything contracts. So if it's raining, we had a lot of rain, not this past week, but prior, a lot of rain. If it's going through that mode of heating up, and then rain, cool weather came in, because it was getting down to the high 60s, the low 70s, contracts, that humidity, right now it's at 84% humidity outside. If that was then, that could have a chance to suck some of that humidity in through the gas tank cap and then your gas. But I'm having a hard time to believe that that much water happened because of rain that quick. I just don't buy it. I just can't believe it did. So I'm just gonna leave it to that. And just continue on. New gas cap I'm going to get. I think I've already said that. So anyway, guys, that was a kind of a long video. And sorry for that, but I wanted to take you through the diesel, the water, everything goes on. So, all right, we're going to get going. I got lights blinking. We're down to 3 minutes. That was quick. And Y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching the channel. Thank you for supporting me. And y'all have a great day, and we will catch you on another video. All right, bye.